Folks, we're here for a legendary episode, the Babe Ruth episode, number 3 of Couple of Joes. I am Joe Conzi Jr., your host from Trainwreck Sports, joined by my beautiful counterpart, producer Burrs, and we have a very special guest today. But before we dive right in, we got some housekeeping to take care of, producer Burrs.
Oh, it's our beautiful friends and sponsors at Outlet Liquor. What's your outlet? It's your place to buy a case.
I mentioned that special guest today. I'm excited because you love alcohol, I love alcohol, and what happens? Alcohol makes a party that much better. We're joined by Jeff Travis, the marketing manager for Old Elk Distillery. Jeff, thank you for joining us here in Studio D. We're happy to have you. How you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to see you got the air conditioning running down here too. It's feeling kind of nice. So, yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you.
Gets a little sweaty behind the Studio D bar. Could you agree with me, or is it because of the alcohol that we consume in this basement?
Yeah, sure.
So he pleads the fifth. So Jeff, we're excited to have you here, Old Elk Distillery. We've been working through getting everybody lined up, and this is the one that we're really excited for because before we got on air today, we talked a little bit about what you have today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Old Elk and how we got to where we are today with Old Elk?
Yeah, absolutely. We're so Old Elk Distillery is out of Fort Collins, Colorado. Been in business now for about 7 years, 8 years. Got a great line of whiskeys, bourbons, different styles of bourbons. We have some flavored whiskeys that we also produce. A few other items. Really proud of our master distiller. Every bottle has his signature on it. A gentleman by the name of Greg Metz. Greg Metz is an industry legend. When you talk about the big names in the whiskey industry, he's definitely one of them. Been a distiller for 40 plus years. He's been with Old Elk for just about 5 years now. So. To have somebody like that putting his stamp of approval on products is a good thing.
Burrs, you know what's beautiful about this episode? It's our 3rd episode. Babe Ruth was a legend. He talks about a legendary distiller. But let's talk about this lineup, this murderer's row, Jeff. Like, we have a murderer's row here. Burrs is just chopping at the bit because he's a Braves fan.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm just like all these.
I'm a Yankee fan. I'm talking Yankee logistics here, but we have a murderer's row of whiskeys here. You talked before we hopped on here about these two over here. To our right, our viewers left. What's going on with this elk up here? This is incredible.
This is the famous elk head pour. So it's kind of the old white unicorn. People are always looking for it. It's sold in a gift set during certain times of the year. I happen to have a few. But it's pretty darn cool because it's not just a stopper, it's a pour.
Sure.
So the bourbon's going to pour right out of the mouth of the elk. So yeah, it puts on a nice show as well.
So you must be the best holiday gift wrapper because it must be very difficult to wrap that.
Luckily, it comes in a box, so I don't have to worry about that. So yeah,
The gift that keeps on giving right there.
yeah, that's a fact check. So anyway,
I like it. See, we don't have to come up with puns for the show. When we get someone on here that knows what, just get us to understand us. So Old Elk Distillery, again here, just to kind of plug a little bit here, you can find this at Outlet Liquor.
Absolutely.
But we really want to know, how did you get into, repping Old Elk Distillery or getting into the business to sell people on the experience of these products?
Yeah, absolutely. So me personally, right place at the right time, to be honest with you. I worked in the technology industry for several years, and that infamous year of 2009 when some things went wrong, I was looking for work, put it that way, and I was in the right place at the right time. Like I said, I worked for a couple other distilleries previous to Old Elk. Been with them 2 years now, and honestly could not work for a better organization. The family that owns it's a very family-oriented company. Family first, business second, and really helps when you have nice products. It makes it a lot easier to do your job as well. So.
In Burrs, we always, when we bring, this is our 3rd show, but when we've brought other reps on the show or those that are involved in the distilling industry, we talk about what makes them stand out. And one thing that we learned, with Old Elk Distillery and Jeff, educating us a little bit, is slow cut proofing. Do you know what slow cut proofing is? I just learned about slow cut proofing reading, what Jeff sent us prior to the show, but you think we should let him take it away, or do you know what slow cut proofing is?
I'm ready to learn something new today.
Yep,
Yeah.
Me too. We're always ready to learn.
So it's a pretty simple process. So when whiskey goes in a barrel to age, right? It sits in the barrel. It goes in at a certain proof. Usually, you're talking 180, 170, somewhere up there. So when you take that whiskey out of the barrel, it's got to be proofed down to go into a bottle, correct? the big distilleries that we won't talk about, you're doing hundreds of thousands of gallons at a time. They're going to add water to proof it down. Well, when you add water to alcohol, there's it's called an exothermic reaction. It creates heat. And what that heat does is it burns off some of the tasting notes, some of the flavors of the whiskey. Well, we take it from something that usually is done in about 24 hours to we spread it out to 10 to 14 days. So add a little bit of water, let it rest. Add a little bit of water, let it rest. By doing that, you're not creating as much heat, saving some of the flavors, and the proof is in the pudding right here, obviously, with the good tasting whiskeys.
So you talk about savoring the flavor. And folks in Buffalo know that there's 3 things in Buffalo that we love. What is that? Blue cheese over ranch, Josh Allen in shorts, and savoring the freaking flavor. Am I wrong, Birds? No, I'm not. I'm always right. Just kidding. There's some cool things too. With baseball season upon us, Burrs and I are big baseball fans. At the end of the year, you got your Triple Crown winners. Hopefully, Vlad Guerrero Jr. having a killer season for the Buffalo Blue Jays. Look at me. Already talking like we have a baseball team here in Buffalo. We do.
Oh, we do.
Catch us on Club 25 if you haven't already. But the reason I bring up these awards, Cy Young, things like that, is the accolades. And I'm reading over here. You've got Best Colorado Whiskey 2020 International Whiskey Competition. Gold 2018 San Francisco World Spirits Competition. 90 points 2018 Wine Enthusiast. 2016-2017 Colorado Distillery of the Year. New York International Spirits Competition. I know everyone's like, look at these accolades. It's just liquor. But why is that important to Old Elk Distillery into your trade?
So people look at that. If you have more of a consumer that's looking to get into whiskeys.
Sure.
Quite honestly, they don't know what they're looking for. You may go to a store, unlike Outlet Liquor, that are always going to help you. If you go somewhere else that they may not have that staff that's quite as knowledgeable, they're going to see those accolades. We like to, assume that they're going to look at those awards and say this has got to be a good whiskey. In our case, it's definitely true. None of those awards, I can tell you, not a single one has ever been paid for. Sometimes in this industry, different labels are paid for. I can say with 100% honesty, our awards have not been paid for. So, we're proud of those awards. Again, having a guy like Greg Metz, who's been doing this for 40 plus years, he's made a lot of whiskey. Here's your football analogy, okay?
Here it comes.
All right, Greg Metz. This guy has made so much whiskey. If you were to take every single NFL stadium, dig down 10 feet into the ground, fill that stadium with whiskey, you're halfway there to the amount of whiskey he's produced in his career.
Wow.
So that's a lot of booze.
So I don't even think we can clear through like a case of that. I don't know. That's a cool thing that I noticed too is you've got Old Elk, okay, but then you have your line of flavored whiskeys that are Whiskey Smith. You have a guy that knows that you work with that knows I've got my Old Elk, my two stanchions, my foundation, but I'm going to put out a flavored whiskey line and I'm going to name it something different, but someone's going to know that it's still Old Elk. Yeah. What's the story behind that?
So listen, we're a company. We've got marketing people. We've got the scientists working to get that right flavor profile. There's a lot of flavored whiskeys out there. Sure. Growing. 50% of the North American whiskey growth in the last 2-3 years straight has been flavored whiskey. Sure. That's a lot.
Looks like the new trend.
Similar to where flavored vodkas were, let's say 10 years ago. But I'll tell you, I think the flavored whiskeys have a much better leg to stand on than the flavored vodkas.
No doubt.
And folks, when you go out to a bar, take a look around before you order a cocktail and really think about it, okay? And this is why we do this show, is because we don't necessarily want you to always go to a bar and say, give me Jack Daniels, because there's more to alcohol than just one company. Be different. Be unique. Do something different.
Yeah, I tell you, the bourbon whiskey market is right there with the craft beers. There are so many craft distilleries popping up everywhere. Whether it's New York, whether it's Colorado. Colorado's got something like 75 distilleries.
It's incredible.
It's nuts.
Fresh water, baby. It's that fresh water.
So, it's always nice to try something different. We actually have 5 different expressions of our Old Elk bourbon and whiskeys, just different grains for different taste profiles.
Well, what the elk? We got to try some of this, right?
Yeah. Why not?
It's like every day I just realize I need like a whole PhD or a master's degree just to know liquors and just beers, and it's just it's
Look
not
at this. This is incredible. Look at this pour.
Yes.
This Elk just going,
I mean, I've seen it for Jägermeister, but this one blows it out. I mean, that's
This was well thought out.
yeah, Jaeger, Schmager, Ding.
Now, you mentioned, too, before we try this, you mentioned the 3D printer. Are you...
Yeah. So the family that owns Old Elk Distillery, the Richardson family out of Fort Collins, Colorado. We basically call them serial entrepreneurs. They own several different businesses, but their biggest one would be OtterBox phone cases, life-proof phone cases. Kurt and Nancy actually founded that company in their garage in Fort Collins, Colorado. Put up two different remortgaged their house to take out a loan to start that company.
Wow!
And now it's something like 65% of the phone accessories in North America are OtterBox. So
incredible.
They know what they're doing, and like I said, most down to earth family, very very cool. So this elk is actually a replica of an elk that's hanging in our office that was taken by the owner of the company. So it's a pretty nice one.
So they're not only protecting our phones, but they're protecting our souls. So,
so to tell you, just let me give you a little bit about the bourbon, because it's very unique. People say, "Hey, what do you compare this to? What do you compare this to when you bring a new bourbon out?" Our mash bill is completely unique. All right, so bourbon, as you may not know, we're going to tell you, it has to be at least 51% corn to be called a bourbon. So we are the league minimum. Another sports reference for us. League minimum on the corn. We're 51%, and then one of the other grains is usually rye. We're 15% rye. But what we do that's completely different: 34% malted barley. 34% malted barley is probably 4, sometimes 5 times the average of malted barley in a bourbon. Usually you're around 7 or 8%. Malted barley is not only the most expensive grain, but it's also probably the richest tasting grain. So very toffee vanilla-like finish for you.
So you know what they say, Jeff and Producer Burst? Rain makes corn, corn makes whiskey, whiskey makes the Joes a little frisky. All right, we're just gonna.
That's just you, man. That's just you.
That's just me.
Saying all that, I just had that. I was that gif of Zach Galifianakis with all those freaking.
That was incredible. That was incredible.
All those scientific theorems in the background, but it's.
If they taught physics like that in high school, I'd have been a better student. So we're gonna.
I learned more physics and science and anything through bowling than I did through high school. Sorry.
All right. Well, we're gonna try this and tell you what we think. So here we go. Oh.
The 2 words that Kurt and Nancy Richardson said to Greg Metz when they first met him, they said, "We want a whiskey that's smooth and easy." Smooth and easy is the 2 words that were used. So he basically, this is the first whiskey that he built personally from the ground up. And yeah.
What's that country song? If I fall, will you let me down easy? Old Elk just did that to me.
Hey man, I'm still trying to get myself in the country. Don't go too far.
I'm just trying to help you out.
I'm working on it.
2 straight country references there.
Well, I will agree with you on that. That is, that would go down like an IPA for me.
Okay.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a good problem to have.
That's I admittedly so. My problem with bourbon is you drink it like beer. You get a good one, they're hard to put down and slow down.
And folks, to kind of describe the taste, it's bold, it's out there, it's unique,
but easy. That's where I'm still getting that. It's smooth.
Yeah.
And I mean, you'll find lots of different smooth bourbons, whiskeys, whatever it may be. But the easy part really, that really gets to me because it's not killing you. You're not burning, but you get that tingle. But
that Kentucky hug or Colorado hug.
It's a
Colorado cuddle.
There you go.
All right.
Well, real quick though, before we jump into the next one, when you watch Burrs on the Rocks, you'll see him try a bourbon where sometimes he's just like so caught off guard with how much it hits him. And this one, it was the first time in a long time I've seen you try a bourbon where it just went down and you looked at me and you were like, "This is it. This is where I'm going."
Yeah.
But, is that okay?
Yeah, sometimes. But that's another part of what's so good with a lot of these bourbons and whiskeys. I mean, you get that extra burn, makes you feel alive, maybe. But it's not always about that.
So when it comes to grains, usually rye is the spicier of the grains.
Sure.
So a higher rye bourbon oftentimes will be a little spicier. Not necessarily hot or burn, but spicier.
Yeah.
We have that the high malt barley, 15% rye is still up there to give it a little spice, but that malted barley really kind of does it. So I'm not trying to rush, but you were talking flavor. Probably the hottest item, as in most popular, not hot as in taste, in the portfolio right now is our weeded bourbon. It's an absolute flavor bomb. So this is still a straight bourbon whiskey, but it's the secondary grain is wheat. So you're 51% corn again, 45% wheat, and a 4% malted barley. All right, 92 proof, so a little bit higher than the flagship bourbon, but the wheat is just it's like I said, it's our most popular item right now. There's a couple out there. There's a couple whiskeys out there that are pretty hard to come by. There might be the first word rhymes with happy, if you know what I'm saying, and the other one might be rhyme with Old Yeller, and they're hard to come by.
I pick up what you put.
Yeah. Those are weeded bourbons. They're known as the original weeded bourbons. So we've got some pretty good press, kind of pointing to the Old Elk weeded bourbon. It's available at a good price point.
So I think we found our new drinking buddy.
he's playing the Michael Scott charades game. Sounds like Schnartle. Rhymes with Schwarzenegger or whatever. Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Well, let's.
So that's our weeded bourbon.
Cheers, Bert.
To me, it's just again. It's a big flavor bomb.
Was there anything? Not with all due respect, was there anything in there?
That's higher proof than the other one.
Like silk.
I'm just thinking of the hip right now. We kings and pretty things. Man,
that was very smooth.
Yeah.
Very smooth.
That's
unlike my singing.
That's a good one for sure. So
you probably ideally put that neat or on the rocks.
that's why I like to do it. I
Yeah.
mean, listen. They make great cocktails. You can certainly do your traditional old fashions or Manhattans, but me personally, I mean the flagship bourbon, our blended straight bourbon, is probably leaning more towards the cocktail. When you get into our weeded bourbon, we have a straight wheat whiskey, a straight rye whiskey as well, and a sour mash that are just really tasty. So
it's nice to get that, have them back to back, and get that little different tandem and see the differences, and you can still, like you said, just smooth and easy.
Yeah.
That's the main. That is really the main theme behind these Old Elk that I'm getting. But it's just, oh my god.
And it's funny when I try to change it up, because we talked before we got on here, and I said, for the summer I like to switch up to rum or something. And you had mentioned that people are always, drinking bourbons. It's like Al Pacino or Silvio Dante from The Sopranos said, just when I'm out, it pulls me back in. I'm back in again. But you did talk about, you said that, bourbon drinkers are not changing.
No, when I got in this industry 10 years ago, you would see dips, ebbs and flows. The colder weather, sales would pick up in the dark spirits. The warmer weather, it's the light spirits. It's not that way anymore. I mean, bourbons and whiskeys are just so darn popular. It's you're still hockey sticking all year round. It's just a climb. So it's good to. And the more that come out, people keep buying them. Bourbon drinkers, I've found, are not afraid to try something different. They see a new bourbon on the market. They're not afraid to experiment.
Usually, and that's what I'll get when I bartend. Some will see the shelf of the bourbons and whiskeys. They go, oh, you got something newer, this and that,
and that
when that stands out on the back bar, people see it. Your conversation's already started. You don't have to explain. Like people are saying, hey, what is that?
It's H. Meister or whatever, a company that rhymes with Meister.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we talked about Old Elk, and then you have the Whiskey Smith line, which is your flavored whiskeys. Yep. And I feel like with flavored whiskeys, the world is your oyster. You can do so much with them. You don't have to add as many additional bitters, maybe. You don't have to add as many juices or grenadine.
You nailed that exactly. So the flavored whiskey market, quite honestly, you're targeting that legal drinking age, so 21 to 35. That's the target audience right there, right? Are they doing it as shooters? Absolutely. Is this something that you're, pouring over a glass of ice? You absolutely can. But what we like to say with our flavors, we tested it the way we got the flavor profile we're looking for. In other words, we're trying to make it easy on that bartender. You want to make a chocolate old fashioned. Sounds different. Well, guess what? Now you don't have to add the chocolate flavoring and this and that. We've tried to put that in the bottle where you're what bartender wants to add 6 ingredients. Just make it easy for you. Add a little of this, little of that, and It's your
Yes.
cocktail.
When we talked about smoky flavors, chocolate bitters or chocolate in general, it's always going to give you a smoky flavor, no matter what you do with bourbons and that. So it's great that you have that on the market. But I'm really excited for your lineup.
So I narrowed it down because we only have so much time, and we don't want people, standing on their head in the middle of the show, right? So I brought out 3 of our more popular flavors. We've got our Whiskey Smith Banana, Chocolate, and Salted Caramel.
Are you sure you don't want us standing on our head? Because I think we're feeling some type of way right now.
If you want to extend the show, we can, of course.
I mean, I'm a trained professional, man.
Yeah. Degeneracy is our go-to.
Prime Minister of Degeneration.
Yes.
Nice.
Producer burst.
Nice.
But anyways, sorry.
Yeah, so there's a handful of other flavors. We've got, ranging from tropical, like pineapple and coconut, to your more traditional peach. We have a blood orange. So there's some different flavors. But I can truly say that I think we nailed the flavor profile on these. They're not too sweet. They're not too hot. All natural flavoring. There's no artificial flavoring added to these. So
That's a big thing for me, the sweetness, and trying more, the sweetness really pushes me away in a lot of things, especially with these different flavors. But I've found a lot more companies, and
But I feel like these are good
won't be-
intro to people who don't. Sorry to interrupt you, Beer Burst, but I feel like it introduces you to whiskey bourbon.
Yes.
Is with these lines.
It's a bridge, if you will,
Yes.
or a.
you nailed that exactly correct. So I 10 and a half, 11 years ago when I got into this industry, I'm the guy that would sniff whiskey and get that numbness in my throat like I'm ready to throw up. I sold a couple flavored whiskeys, and before you know it, my go-to is one little ice cube or neat with regular bourbon. So yes,
This is banana, right? All right.
So you're
I'm not going crazy.
Yeah. It's
boy,
it's liquid banana bread.
Oh baby,
It is a lot better than that.
so dude, banana.
99 bananas or whatever I
This-
had that one
you-
time
if
dry
you-
eating. But this is.
If you were not a bourbon drinker, that was like just banana. It was incredible.
One, I'm not a huge banana guy either. I mean, I like my apples. How about them apples? But I mean, bananas, they do nothing for me, especially with that prior experience. But
Banana.
that's not bad at all, actually. It's a subtle banana.
It's there's 3 different banana flavors. It's kind of like banana bread. There's you get some baking spice notes to it, and it's not just you get whiskey, but you get some banana too. So
That was really good.
A little kiss at the end.
I might have to go get a bottle and just start just pouring it down people's. I won't. Never mind. Anyways,
Drink responsibly.
drink responsibly here at a couple of Joes. I'm blown away.
I try to do it in an order that's not going to overwhelm one. If you do chocolate first and then the banana, I mean, hey, listen, you can mix the 2 together and it's pretty tasty.
Just nothing
too.
can hurt.
I know. So,
Have like a little Long Island whiskey.
so the chocolate, I like to say Tootsie Roll, liquid Tootsie Roll, but it's let you decide for yourself.
Tootsie Roll.
Tootsie Roll. Here we go. Cotton candy, sweet and go. Let me see that Tootsie Roll.
Oh,
Yep.
It's one of these, like you're right here and you go,
Yep.
oh, I got
Birds, you gotta shoot that. It's good. Yep. Sold.
Where's my chocolate cream pie?
Yeah.
And think about that. You nailed it. Baking with the banana, baking with the chocolate.
Oh, that's where I've learned more about cooking and learning how to cook. Just with cooking with
Thinking
booze.
thinking of a chocolate pie with a cup of chocolate flavored whiskey in there. In the hot weather like this, vanilla ice cream with a couple shots of chocolate in a blender.
Gosh.
I mean, now you're talking.
Milkshakes, baby.
Brings all the
Oh my!
degenerates to the yard.
You know what? That sounds like that's a great milkshake right there when you're playing 18.
Indeed.
Against Nate Geary.
There's got to be portable blenders out there with 18-volt batteries.
Well, that's what you do. You get you get a little portable thing, and you lift up the back of the seat of the golf cart. If that keep the battery there,
This is gonna be the
stays here,
definite.
friends.
Salted caramel.
Here we go. Ready?
Salted caramel is definitely gaining in popularity.
Is it caramel or caramel?
Well, Rich better stock up on this because I feel like we're going down to Outlet Liquor tomorrow and getting a case of the Whiskey Smith. We'll get some both out. The Whiskey Smith. Let's just buy the whole line. Let's just do it. No?
I like it. I'm thinking about how the chocolate, the caramel go together. It's like we're having Snickers.
Well, I gotta say, Jeff, I'm blown away. And just from where we've gone, where we've ended up, incredible. You could get this at Outlet Liquor.
Yes, you can.
All the Whiskey Smith line, as well as the Old Elk. You could even get one with the cool little horns on it.
Well, now you kind of got to wait till the holidays.
Okay.
Probably August, September, we will have, actually this year's version of the Elk Porter is going to be gold plated. I probably shouldn't have said
Well-
that. That might have been NDA, but oh well.
Well,
It's out there now.
here's what we're gonna do.
Johnny, cut that out.
What we always do is at the end of the show we always give our Bills prediction, and so we're gonna have you give a Bills prediction to our viewers out here today. What are your thoughts on the Bills season?
I'm negative Nelly, but I think last year I was looking at a 6-10, and they over delivered, which is good. So I'm looking.
Wait, 6-10?
Last year, that's what I was thinking.
All right.
Last,
I just had to get that out. I'm sorry.
Last year.
All right, carry on.
yeah, I like to over deliver, right? I'm looking at I got to throw an extra game in there, right? 17 games.
Yeah, you do.
I'm going 11-6.
I mean, I think that's fair. That's 17 games, 11-6.
I think their schedule's harder than everyone's making it out to be. Yes, it's a good team, but I'm a little older than you guys. I've been around a lot of losing teams for a lot of heartbreak over many years. So
You're a realist.
I don't want to. Yes, thank you.
You're a realist.
Jeff Travis, Old Elk Distillery. You can find this at Outlet Liquor. They always say about whiskeys, never delay kissing a pretty girl or opening a bottle of whiskey. Ernest Hemingway said that. Burrs, take it away for our legendary Babe Ruth episode.
Stay happy, stay healthy, and always stay thirsty. Good night now.